Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to today's Play Attention's coffee break. We are live on Zoom and also on Facebook. I really do appreciate you coming today. So last week, we talked about how to motivate your child to learn, because as we enter this new school year, many of us are doing school at home again. You may be doing 100% virtual, you may be doing a hybrid, you may just be doing your own homeschool curriculum. So one of the questions we had was how to motivate your child to learn. And when we talked about it, we were actually talking about not necessarily how to motivate your child just to get through the worksheet or get through that skill and drill, but really how to motivate them to want to learn, to inspire them. So this is a continuation of that, and we're talking about passion-based learning. That's really the key to developing a curriculum that will inspire your child, whether it's an elementary grade school child or a high school child, to really develop the love of learning and be motivated to learn the curriculum. So when we discussed last week, there were a few things that you were going to take action on. One was that you were going to look at your child's learning style. So hopefully you had an opportunity to reflect. Maybe your school year has already started and you had an opportunity to observe your child. So did you discover that your child was an auditory learner, visual, perhaps an experiential learner, reading, writing learner, or a multitude, a combination of those? So we talked about writing down your child's learning style. And then we talked about doing the passion survey, right? Really coming up with different areas that interest your child. Because we know that if we can integrate your child's interests and passion into the curriculum, you will have more happiness, more of an opportunity to really have some solid learning and some excitement over the curriculum. Also, we talked about the curriculum, right? What do you have to teach? Because there are certain things you have to teach. So then we want to tie all of this together to create your lesson plan. So again, one was to assess your child's learning style, identify your child's passion and interests, and then connect the dots. How do we put this together to take the passion and the interest and combine that with the curriculum? So many of you wrote in and you gave suggestions on, this is my child's interest and this is what I need to teach. And we are talking about every grade level. So I wanted to give you kind of a generic topic and a generic lesson plan that you could look at and hopefully take and modify for your own use. Because many of you talked about certain sports. A lot of your children are into sports, and how do we incorporate their love of sports, whether it's dance, or football, or soccer, or swimming, and how do we incorporate that into the lesson plans? So this is what we're going to talk about today. I took one of the most popular ones that you wrote in, and many of you have written in that your child loves football. And it was across the board. It was children who were male and female. So many of you said that they love football. So I'm going to take the example of football as the interest and how we can incorporate that into the curriculum and make your lesson plans from that. So again, this is just an idea that hopefully is a springboard that you can use to inspire you to start developing new lesson plans around your child's interests. So if we look at football, and of course, it's very easy typically to do to incorporate this into the language arts, right? Because you can read books about football, you can write about football, you can do your own stories about football. So how do we integrate that into another subject matter such as math? So here are some ideas that I have for you on how to incorporate this into math. And we can do basic addition. So this is on the elementary school level. Introduce scoring. So of course, a touchdown is 7 points. The field goal is 3 points. Make certain you have that in front of your child, and then have your child practice adding up scores until they've mastered it. And you can give them different samples. If my team scores 2 field goals and 1 touchdown, how many points do we have? And you can also pull in actual games that they have watched and incorporate that into your lesson plan. You can add challenge to that. So if my team scores 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal, while the other team scores 3 touchdowns, who has the most points? And how many more points did the winning team have? So you're incorporating their interests, basic addition and subtraction, and you're bringing in the vocabulary, more, less. If the team's 3 running backs rush for 85, 76, and 23 yards, how many rushing yards does the team have? So you incorporate larger numbers. So now you went from the smaller numbers and now you're into double digits. So you can see how you can actually expand this into the upper grades as well. Also, I pulled this stat from a report online. I just went in and put 2 teams in and came up with these sports. So this was a game between the Saints and the Chicago Bears. So the Saints improved to 5-0 without their injured star quarterback by beating the Chicago Bears 36-25. That's the stat you begin with. And then the question is, if the score was 36-25, how many touchdowns and field goals did each team score? So now you're pulling in working memory, right? They have to take in this information. They have to manipulate the information in order to give a response. So really important, and this gets much more complex for your higher level math students. We can also bring in percentages. They're used to describe how often an event occurs, and this is in all sports. If my quarterback completes 8 out of 10 passes, what's his completion percentage? If my team wins 4 of the 16 games this year, what is our winning percentage? Then you can look at stats of 2 different teams or more even, and tally up how often each team ran the ball as opposed to passing it, and then come up with the percentages. Continue to break down the statistics to determine tendencies and predictions. So again, you see how we get into higher and higher levels, but we're bringing in math. And the interesting thing about this is that when you introduce math in this way, and you're bringing in stats that they're passionate about and teams that they're passionate about, they're going to come up with their own word problems, with their own math problems. And you'll be amazed that they'll challenge themselves and they'll rise to that challenge because they want to figure that information out. We can look at averages with team stats. It's a great way to figure out averages. So if you look at the teams, you know, they always break down ages and weights and heights. So look at the team stats and document the average weight, height, and age of the players of different positions, and then compare. So you're getting into comparing and contrasting. Which team is the oldest, the heaviest, the shortest, and continue calculating different stats and compare between teams. So again, this is really going to inspire them. As I'm giving you a springboard, you're going to give your children and students a springboard to look at other stats and how can they compare them just across positions, across teams. It will be really a fun event for them. And then let's get out there. Let's go outside and throw the football, right? Because we know that learning is enhanced with physical activity. So this is a great opportunity for you to actually go outside and throw the football. You can bring in a lot of different math skills when you go outside to throw the football. Mark a starting line and then ask your child to throw the football 10 times. Bring out a measuring stick and have them measure the distance of each throw. So you're bringing in measurement. Also, you can talk about what was the furthest throw, what was your shortest, what was the average, and then your percentages of throws. The percentage of throws was the further than 5 feet, 10 feet, and 15 feet. So you can bring in your percentages there as well. So lots of different ways to do it. Now, the trickier part, you may be thinking, comes in when we get into the higher levels, right? When we get into the high school areas and we have to really look at the higher level math. So I looked into some higher level math using some football stats. And it's really interesting because remember we talked about you don't have to necessarily know the subject matter. You just need to teach your child how to be a good learner. And there are a lot of supportive materials on the internet for you. This one teaches the Pythagorean theorem. And it is a great video. It's done by Lester Holt, but they have 10 videos in their series, and it is sponsored by the NFL and the National Science Foundation. A lot of good introductions to your higher level math themes and science themes using football as the inspiration. So I would recommend you look into Science of NFL Football if you have a football fan and you want to incorporate some of this into the curriculum. Really good way to incorporate it and great material. Also, if you just put in, let's say, trigonometry and football, lots of lessons already there for you. Because I know as we get into the higher level math, when you're looking at trigonometry and even geometry we haven't done in so long, and all of those concepts, there are a lot of great and inspirational and motivational lesson plans that are already done for you. So this is just again, an idea for you. So hopefully you have looked at this as an opportunity to now take your child's passion and start incorporating it into some lesson plans. Now, this was your assignment last week, so I think we can continue on this because we do have some additional ideas. So remember to think about your child's learning style, different interests and passions. Write down what you need to teach in math, science, or history, and then develop a plan on how you can connect the curriculum with your child's interests. And then remember, this is critical. Involve your child in the process because you are bringing in their passion. They're going to want to be involved in some of the decision making and development of the lessons. And when you can have your child actually developing the parts of the lesson plan, developing those addition and subtraction problems, the percentages, what they're going to look at, what they're going to tally, then you're going to see them really inspired to start applying these skills. Because remember, this is the teaching component. If you have to dive in their interests. So I hope this gave you some good inspiration and good springboard for your own lesson planning. Now remember, we have lots of events upcoming. So of course, Play Attention has your customized Play Attention neurocognitive training program to help you develop executive function. So if you have any interest in starting your neurocognitive training program or doing an assessment package or consultation, that's what we're here for. So make certain you go to playattention.com and schedule your consultation. We also have a webinar this Wednesday. If you wanted to learn a little bit more about Play Attention and how we utilize NASA-inspired technology with the latest research in neuroplasticity to improve executive function and self-regulation, then Wednesday's webinar is a great one for you. And you can register for that at playattention.com and then click on live webinars and register for that webinar there. Also, we have upcoming, it's starting in September, our Executive Function 101 course. Now, this course is specifically designed to provide you with activities across the board, every age level, to help really enhance this school year. And we're going to be focusing on activities that help develop and strengthen different areas of executive function, such as working memory, impulse control, mental flexibility, organization, time management. So make certain you go to our website, click on resources, and check out the Executive Function 101 course that starts in September. And if you do want to register, you can put in HS for Homeschool 2020, and you'll receive 20% off the registration fee. The registration is $99, and that's for an entire family. So whether you're enrolling one family member or 6 family members, the price is the same. And we'll continue to have our coffee break Mondays. Every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we'll be on Zoom, and we'll also be on Facebook Live. You're more than welcome to chat with us on Facebook Live, and we will certainly get back to you and reply to you if you have more questions or you have suggestions of what you want to talk about upcoming. Our next couple of coffee chats or coffee breaks will be reviewing time management, organization, and emotional control. So stay tuned. We will be back, and we look forward to connecting with you in a week. But remember, we'll see you Wednesday if you would like to see the webinar on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Take care.